And there we go. Maybe I got to turn on my mic. Let's see. Let me know if this is going now. And there we go. Maybe I got to turn on my mic. Let's see. Looks good. Okay. Yeah, it's the first time I'm trying this other setup out. Okay, so this is, if you saw the last one, there's a couple of videos where you guys were responding. This guy had a video called Atheists Can't Answer These Three Questions. And two of them were kind of dumb questions. I don't know what he was doing with the third one. But now he's, this is good. Instead of just running away, he's answering the answers that he got. So let's see what we got. And again, fair use, man. You're gonna please don't pull the creationist shtick on me. So.
Assalamualaikum guys, maybe you have heard that our video with the title Atheists Cannot Answer These Three Questions caught attention a lot. Atheism, a view that constantly leads you to a dead end while questioning the universe. If you haven't watched the first video yet, you can watch it first. As towards eternity, we checked some of the comments written by the audience and let's see if they really answered the questions or not. Before we start the video, I want to say we saw that most of the objections were related to the comparison and analogies. But it doesn't make sense.
Wait. Oh, never mind.
Used analogies with the intention of making you better understand the existence of some basic logic rules.
Okay, well then the analogies got to follow those basic logic rules. You can't just say it doesn't make sense because they were analogies, but we use these analogies to prove our logic. That's not right?
Since analogy is a quite practical way of conveying ideas and it's kind of magnifier zooming in some distant truths and making them appear more clearly, there shouldn't be any problem in using metaphors. It's necessary to focus on the meaning given in the example rather than the...
Okay. The metaphor can have the same logic. Or else what's the point? And what do you mean by meaning? If the meaning isn't logical, then what the hell does meaning mean?
The example. Okay, let's talk about the basic objections. We said that one cannot give what one doesn't have to another one. One cannot give what one doesn't have to another one.
Okay. So let's see if he re-explains this. Let's see.
For example, let's say there are only 100 white balls in a glass sphere. What is the chance of a red ball to be chosen from this sphere? Of course it's zero, right? No matter how long you wait, you will not get any because there is no red ball inside the sphere anyway. In summary, atoms don't have any features such as knowledge, will, life, feelings, vision and hearing. So the question is, how can atoms give these features to living things?
Okay. They keep sneaking intentionality in here like it's going to be like atoms have a purpose or atoms intend to do something. I can tell you that a feature that one atom doesn't have, if you had three atoms, you could arrange them in a triangle. Now you have a triangle meaning, right? If you have four atoms, you could arrange them in a square. Now you have a square. That's something that a single atom doesn't have. And that's just giving you properties that they say they can't create, or I don't even know how did he say this? This is really bad. Like atoms can't. How can atoms give these features to living things? Okay, they're not giving anything; they are things. So I think the idea was that. Okay, so you give the example of a bunch of white balls can't give birth to a red ball or whatever. They're going to go after evolution or something. But the idea that atoms can't have characteristics that give birth to new characteristics. Put more atoms together, you get things happening. You can get fields, you can get shapes. You could even just say that the fact that you can count them is a feature. So I don't know. They've already got features. Well, let's see if he disputes it. So hopefully he does.
So we said that it's so clear that there must be a creator behind the atoms. And here are some objections. Atoms gain more properties in the form of molecules already. Thus, it's obvious that the sum is more than the parts. When two atoms form a molecule, the molecule has a number of properties that neither atoms have. Fire comes from non-fire. Oxygen and hydrogen atoms bond to form water, which has different attributes from the original atoms, seemingly debunking your whole premise. Okay, there are many similar comments, but I think these friends didn't get the points. They said that atoms gain new properties when they form molecules. Okay, but our question comes exactly at this point. We ask, how can it be? These friends wrote in the comments again what we presented in the video. How can different features arise in molecules and living things when these features do not exist in atoms?
They just said it. If one atom is an atom, it's not three atoms, and it's not a triangle. If you put three atoms together, you get a triangle. That's already exists. I don't even know what exactly are you asking?
Be honest, is it an answer to say, but it's constantly happening? This is not the question, the truth. But
And that is not the answer they gave you. This is a straw man. Hold on, let's back up here. Wow.
again what we presented in the video. How can different features arise in molecules and living things when these features do not exist in atoms? Be honest, is it an answer to say, but it's constantly happening? This is not the question, the truth, but to imprison the mind to what the eye sees. Let's say we saw a man who could lift with his hands an enormous building which has 10 floors. We would definitely become astonished with that and look for some other cause behind. The fact that this man could do it every day wouldn't just normalize it. So it's certainly not an answer to say this happens all the time. We say that you have to think about what you see. You know, if you have black pencil, you cannot draw a colorful rainbow, right? Just like that, hydrogen and oxygen cannot be expected to give water the property that they don't have. So, we understand logically that they cannot do this job. There must be someone who controls this.
Whoa! No, wait a second. Are you saying that without some god, hydrogen and oxygen can't make water? They make water because when you put those two types of atoms together, you get water. Oh man, I don't even want to say the E word because all you philosophy nuts are going to get on me. But it's an emergent property, isn't it? If you're putting hydrogen and oxygen together, if you put water and dirt together, what do you get? You get mud, right? There's nothing magical about that. You just it's just how it is. I mean, these are is that what he's saying? Is that hydrogen? Let's just back this up. Sorry, I don't want to straw man him the way he's straw manning everybody else.
So you cannot draw a colorful rainbow, right? Just like that, hydrogen and oxygen cannot be expected to give water the property that they don't have. So, we understand logically that they cannot do this job. There must be someone who controls this and give these features to living things.
How do you get to someone and why you jump into living things? Okay, yes, hydrogen is not water. Oxygen is not water. One atom is not a triangle. Two atoms are not a triangle. You put three atoms together and draw lines between them. Now you got a triangle. This hydrogen and oxygen is water by definition. Your logic, where you say logically it has to be someone. Now, maybe there could be a something. What the hell is a someone? How do you get a someone in there, man? That is some God smuggling there.
You only see the image of formation with your eyes. In short, it's not an answer to say just happens. And also, it's very sad to see these kind of comments.
Nobody's saying just happens. Water and dirt making mud doesn't, it's not that it just happens, it's that it happens. It's not it just happens. It is what happens when water and dirt mix, they make a mix. Yeah, it's just too deep. This is nuts. What are you doing?
Come on, you are speaking like you don't know anything about chemistry. This process requires no knowledge or will. It just happens. to see these kind of comments. Come on, you are speaking like you don't know anything about chemistry.
No. You are speaking. Not only that you don't know anything about chemistry, you are speaking. No, you are claiming that you do not accept chemistry. Chemistry doesn't require that component that you're calling for in here.
This process requires no knowledge or will. It just happens. Does it really just happen? Is it so? Why don't you ask why and how?
We
The
do.
emergence of water with a distinct character is the observed fact for which we want to find an explanation. The first question is, how can it be? The second question is, why should even an extinguishing water form after the combination of hydrogen and oxygen? Is there such a necessity requiring that formation? No. I mean, we can imagine infinite alternative ways of acting for these two elements. Why not them? Why this way of acting all the time?
Why not universe creating pixies or the flying spaghetti monster? You can do why not all you want, but when you observe that hydrogen and oxygen make water, that's the world we live in. So let's talk about that world.
Why not another rule? What causes these particles to follow some specific rules and not follow the other infinite possible alternatives? At this point, only the concept of will can explain the prevailing of a specific rule among infinite possible alternatives.
No,
So,
you don't just get to smuggle a person in there. You know, I bet you'd be upset if I said, well, okay, you're right. It must be Jesus. You'd freak out, right? That's, you know better. Come on.
will is necessary which atoms lack. Then there has to be an owner of absolute will.
No,
The second
we don't need a will. Go put dirt and water together. You get mud. You don't need a will for that. Show me where the will is. Show me what it would look like if there wasn't a will in there.
objection is made to the example of judge and prisoner. We said that bricks cannot form a building by coming together and agreeing. There must be an architect to control them. Think of a building which is being built with bricks. If you do not accept the architect to build it, it will be a contradiction to accept that bricks are building this on their own. Just like that, atoms cannot form a human by coming together and agreeing. There must be a creator to control them.
No. Okay, that's two different things. Who in the world is saying that atoms must come together and agree to form a human? You keep smuggling will in there. And there must be a creator to control them? No. I mean, you could, if you really want to stretch words so that you can get away with anything, you could say that, I guess, the forces of physics are a creator, but you know that's not what you mean, and you know that's not what you're appealing to people to think about what you're saying as a creator. No. There we go.
Bricks are prisoners, architect is judge. Atoms are prisoners, God is judge. Okay, here are some objections. There is no judge or prisoner, yet you assume both. Why is that? To assume that everything has to be ordered and commanded by something is just silly. Yes. Weird question and weird reasoning. Okay, the example we gave was to show a particular condition showing us the existence of a rule. And the rule is that two opposite natures cannot come together. Judge in the comparison.
Whoa. The rule is that two opposite natures cannot come together. What rule is that? Can you find me that rule? I'm not sure where I would find this rule. Opposite nature. What does opposite nature even mean? Do you mean that a positive 1 and a negative 1 can't come together? Because they can, and they get 0. Do you mean that... I don't even know what you mean. What does that mean? Do you mean like when antimatter and matter get together? They do come together. No. Okay.
Stands for the nature of authority, and the prisoner stands for the nature of captivity. One of them is the subject, the active being, and the other is its object, the passive being. And these two natures are totally opposite.
You know, when you come from a authoritarian dictatorship, you think in terms like this. I mean, we don't think of bricks as captives and architects as judges. This is crazy. Yeah, I feel sorry for this guy.
each other, like dark and light, hot and cold, existence and absence.
Hey, dark and light come together all the time. Hot and cold come together all the time.
Just as something cannot be existent or absent at the same time, it's also impossible for an atom to give orders and take orders at the same time.
Nobody's saying atoms are given and taken orders. What are you even talking
Otherwise,
about?
the atom will turn out to hold two contradictory natures. If all the atoms are considered as the captives of single authority of God, there won't be any problem, and there is no opposing to logic as the nature
There's no opposing to logic anyway. You are...
are separate and they do not combine. But if we don't refer to a God and say atoms are leading these processes, then we will
Nobody's
have to
saying this
accept
is
that
such a
an
straw
atom
man.
is both an authority
Holy
and a
crap.
captive at the same time, holding two separate natures. But this is a contradiction. Each atom will have a nature of authority similar to Godhead, figuring all the relations with
is
each
getting
other,
deep
having the
in
knowledge of the whole
cuckoo
system of
land
human
here.
body, commanding and moving huge armies of atoms. But at the same time, these apparently most active beings will be passive and captivated objects in the hands of the other atoms. Everything would be a chaos because a single commander can arrange the affairs of an army with great ease, their positions, for example. But if the soldiers become the commanders themselves, no order will be apparent at all.
All right, okay, so apparently you also don't know how the hell command works. You know, you don't... The commander doesn't command every single soldier. There's no way. He gives commands to his subordinates. The subordinates have subordinates under them. They may have several levels of command. And it goes back the other way. The commander reacts to information brought back to him by his subordinates, by even the lowest private if he sees an enemy someplace and starts reporting it back up the chain. Yo, buddy.
Now let's pass to other objections, which says that we ignore and overlook the laws of nature, the laws of chemistry. Okay, the first one, bricks cannot build because they are lifeless. Yes, I agree with that. An architect is required. Okay, but you can't put atoms and bricks at the same point because there is such a thing as laws of chemistry. The second one, I have no idea how things like the law of chemistry work, therefore my gods. Okay. The third one, it's simple chemistry and physics. Okay, they say the laws of nature help us describe the natural phenomena and the processes. And they say that we can explain any natural phenomenon without mentioning God. Now, we should stop here and ask again, what do we mean by laws of nature? Lots of us even don't think about this, right? Laws of nature, laws of chemistry, laws of physics. What sort of being do they have? What is their essence and reality? In fact, it's only knowledge. Yes, they are only knowledge that we discovered.
Yeah.
They don't even have a material being like this one. For example, can you show me gravitational force?
Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
only
Yes. Here, I'm not going to drop those. Here we go. Here is one of Woody's guitar picks, and I'm going to drop it. Oh, look at that. Gravitational force. Okay? These laws describe observations that we find in the material world. So the laws themselves aren't material. I could get into an argument whether or not thoughts are material, but concepts, let's say, are not material. Well, sort of. Man, that's a deep one. But the laws describe what happens in the real world. It's not just information. It explains what we see.
information. It's a name of the movement of substances, right? But after all, they are considered as agents that can have an effect over things. They are only a description of the order and God's way of creating.
Nope.
For example, we use
Smoking
grammar
God
rules
again.
while writing sentences, right? For example, we use capital letters when starting a sentences. This is a rule. Okay, does this rule write a word? Or does someone write a word?
Man, I don't want to sound like a philosopher because for one thing, I'm not one. And for another thing, I mostly can't stand them. But he's mixing up descriptive rules and prescriptive rules. These aren't rules that tell the universe what to do. These are rules that describe observations that we see, how we see things move and how things interact. This doesn't say that, hey, Adam, you shall do this.
With this rule, the question is, who writes sentences? Of course, grammar rules are just a name of how we write. Just like that, laws of nature are just a name of how God controls the universe.
No.
The laws
You gotta
of
prove
physics
that
or the
God
laws
first.
of chemistry are the names of God's way of ruling the universe. The formation of what?
Put some evidence in for that God first. You're just pleading. You're just making bald assertions here.
By the combination of hydrogen and oxygen is a chemical law. However, it's not the law of chemistry that creates water. This law is already the name of the formation. It's just a name. So it's God who creates water by this law.
No. You are so many steps away from this right here, William Lane Craig. You gotta bring in so much stuff before you get anywhere near saying that it's a particular God. And again, man, what if I just said that God's Jesus? How'd you like that? Or Maui or something, or Zeus.
The constitution of a state can only make known how the country is ruled. It cannot rule the country. Or the no smoking law does not impose any penalties by itself. One who puts that law
One of those is a prescriptive law, and one of those is a descriptive law.
manage the system. Likewise, the laws of nature only describe how God controls the world. So, it's not an answer to say laws of nature. Okay, these three proofs clearly show us that God exists. And these objections don't refute this proof. God exists. Laws of nature. Okay, these three proofs clearly show us that God exists.
No. Where the hell? Okay, here, let me see. I'm gonna drop my pick again. Oh, that's gravity. God exists. I don't get it. Wait. Oh, actually, wait a second. I have. This is a chopstick. Do you know what this means? I have a chopstick. This means that the flying spaghetti monster exists. Ramen, all hail his noodly appendage.
And these objections don't refute these proofs. We will make many videos on these topics. We will talk in more detail, inshallah. And we claim that no objections can refute our proofs. Don't imprison your minds to your eyes.
Don't imprison your mind to your holy book.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
And my amen is that science flies you to the moon and religion flies you into buildings. So, goodbye with that.